Rise of the Ronin is the latest action RPG from Team Ninja, set to release on March 22nd. Recently, through various vignettes and behind-the-scenes videos, we've learned new details about the game's story, characters, combat, and gameplay systems. So in this video, I wanted to discuss all the exciting new info that we know about Rise of the Ronin. So just a quick background for those of you who don't know, Rise of the Ronin is set in the heart of the Bakumatsu period of Japanese history, a time marked by darkness and upheaval. Our protagonist will be a powerful Ronin trained by a group known as the Veiled Edge, alongside his blade twin, but more on that in a minute. A really exciting aspect is that you'll be able to choose which side of the game you want to fight on, the pro or the anti-shogunate side. And this will affect the characters that you ally with, those that you fight against, and many aspects of the game's story. Rise of the Ronin has an emphasis on world building, open world exploration, and immersion, navigating through historic cities like Yokohama, Edo, and Kyoto. And as we saw from some of the recent footage, encountering notable landmarks along the way. The game's world is not only rooted in historical accuracy, but is also expanded upon with fictional locations and content to enrich the gameplay experience. One of the things that we've recently learned about Rise of the Ronin is that the game's story includes a unique element known as the Blade Twin. Our character has been raised and trained as one half of a Ronin pair. Our character gets separated from our Blade Twin at an early stage in the game. It appears that Ryoma Sakamoto is our character's Blade Twin, as during one of the behind the scenes gameplay shots, we see a mission titled Follow Your Blade Twin, and we are following Ryoma. However, it's not fully confirmed that Ryoma is the Blade Twin, as other footage in the game's behind the scenes appears to show a female character on the flip side of a blade, which to me also indicates that they're trying to show a Blade Twin. And it could indicate that we may be able to possibly choose our Blade Twin or possibly customize them at the beginning of the game. However, honestly at this point I am just theorizing based on what we've seen in the mission footage. It could be as simple as Ryoma leading us to our Blade Twin, so that's why we're following him. However, no matter what, this bond most definitely will play a crucial role in the game's story and combat, and based on developer interviews, it appears your Blade Twin will actually be the game's second main character, along with our own. So no matter what, they're going to play a huge role in the story. Some of the biggest new information we learned about Rise of the Ronin comes with the gameplay and the combat, so let's discuss some of the new gameplay details that we've learned about Rise of the Ronin. Starting with the game's UI and weapon management. In one of the recent trailers, we were able to see a look at the game's user interface or UI to gain some different insights and clues. As you can see, you'll have access to a horse, as we've learned previously, and some potential distraction objects like pebbles alongside 4 slots for weapons and utility items. Notably, your main weapon features a meter which looks to fill as you complete successful strikes and combos, allowing you to perform some crazy looking finishing moves, which I think is pretty awesome. The heart of Rise of the Ronin lies in its combat system, emphasizing skillful engagement over button mashing gameplay. We've seen that you'll be able to learn skills from different combat schools, each offering unique combat styles. Mastery of these styles and understanding their application in different combat situations will be key to navigating the game's combat. So far, we've seen 5 combat styles that will be included in the game that we'll be able to use. And like I always say, apologies if I have some mispronunciation in the video, not always my strongest suit. The first style is Shinto Munin, which is also known as Munin style, focusing on raw power and charging into battle. The next is Hokushin style, which is overwhelming the enemy with a barrage of attacks. And we also saw 3 other styles, Mumyo, Tatsumi, and Jagyu Shinkage style. Now there can't be combat without the weapons, so let's discuss some of the weapons in Rise of the Ronin. Weapons in Rise of the Ronin can be used for either close range or long range combat. While we knew some of the weapons that would feature in games such as katanas, rifles with bayonets, and pistols, we've recently seen the variety of weaponry to choose from will be quite robust. The katana is the staple of the samurai arsenal, and in Rise of the Ronin you'll have the option of a single blade, or you can also dual wield katanas. We've also seen a rudimentary flamethrower, which is a devastating weapon capable of widespread damage. And also, one of my personal favorites is the pole arm or naginata, which provides extended reach and sweeping attacks. We have also seen spears, as well as what seems to be great swords or claymores, which are just really cool looking powerful weapons that just deliver these just devastating attacks. We've also seen sabers, which are mainly used by the Western forces, throwing knives, which offer a silent option for more ranged attacks, and ideal for stealth, which we'll discuss a little bit later. We've also seen fire bombs, which can also be deployed while flying, adding an aerial bombardment element to your tactics. And of course, when all else fails, there's also your fists. There were also some other weapons that we just saw picture icons of, and I can't say exactly what they were for sure, but there are also some additional weapons that we'll get to see later on. When discussing stealth, it appears that stealth will be a viable option in Rise of the Ronin. Regarding stealth, it will include both sneaking and water-based stealth approaches, allowing you to avoid detection and engage enemies by surprise. So yes, you can swim in-game. You can also utilize your glider and grappling hook for stealth as well. We've sort of seen that before, but it's now confirmed that we'll be able to combine these different things together, drop down on enemies, as well as we saw a really cool elimination in one of the new behind the scenes or one of the combat vignettes where we actually pulled an enemy up to us with our grappling hook for an assassination, which was really a sweet move. We've also seen that in Rise of the Ronin, weapons can be increased with different elemental effects to increase their effectiveness and likely deal additional damage. We previously saw that we were able to spark fire upon our katana, but we've recently also seen both electricity and poison be used with spears as well. Rise of the Ronin will emphasize the importance of reading enemy movements so that you can do your best in combat, and this is a skill that becomes vital as you face more challenging opponents. So being able to anticipate and counter enemy attacks will be very key, as Rise of the Ronin will utilize what is known as a Counterspark system. Now the Counterspark system is basically a parry or deflection system that requires timing and skill and is essential for countering different enemy types. And if you're able to successfully execute a Counterspark, then you'll be able to stun your enemies, creating opportunities for more powerful attacks and openings. And as we've seen in the recent footage, the game will feature a variety of combat scenarios, from skirmishes with bandits to encounters with more powerful foes and boss battles, enriching the gameplay with more challenging experiences, but also, having a variety so that we can have different elements to the combat as well. Now, one of the most important systems in Rise of the Ronin will be the bond system, which emphasizes the formation of bonds with various characters and historical figures. These bonds not only influence the storyline, but enhance combat abilities, offering improvements in strength, dexterity, charisma, and intelligence. The system stands out as a pivotal gameplay element, introducing another layer to the game's combat. You'll have the opportunity to create bonds with different historical figures who can either assist you on your journey or turn against you, depending on the choices that you make throughout the game. So far, we've seen 7 historical characters that we'll be able to create bonds with, and I'm not going to go through and try and pronounce all of their names and embarrass myself, but these characters are not merely NPCs, but they're potential allies or adversaries within the game that have their own motivations and their roles in the story. And depending on your gameplay style, there can be some really big boosts that we'll talk about later on, depending on who you decide to create bonds with. And depending on which side of the fight that you find yourself on, some of these characters will end up being powerful companions, or they may result in very difficult bosses that you have to take down. Now, before actually starting and embarking on your missions, you can actually look at a combat preparation screen and sort of choose how you want to approach a mission, as well as choose which one of your bonded characters you want to bring as backup. Now, your bonded allies will play a crucial role in these missions, and it looks like you're able to select up to 2 allies to accompany you on the mission. Each ally comes with unique bond bonuses that enhance your combat abilities. And the bond system is actually categorized into 4 different levels, each offering increasing bonuses and advantages the higher level your bond with that character. Starting at level 1, this is called the Acquainted stage, which is the initial stage of the bond, which offers basic bonuses. Then level 2 is known as Friendly, which is a deeper connection that provides improved combat enhancements. Level 3 is known as Inseparable, yielding pretty significant combat benefits. And the final, level 4, is known as Fated, which is the highest bond level, offering the most substantial bonuses and potentially game-changing advantages in combat. These bonuses are tailored to enhance your combat style, reflecting each ally's unique strengths and combat styles as well. Now, one of the most interesting things that we have seen during one of the new gameplay behind the scenes is that during combat, you will be able to switch between the different characters that you bring on your combat missions. So you'll be able to mid-combat switch to another character that may be in a more advantageous position, take over, and actually work together between the two characters, or actually maybe possibly three characters, to attack the enemies and take them on. This is a mechanic that I suspect you won't be able to do throughout the game freely, because it will be probably limited to those combat missions that you plan out and bring allies, but it's still a really cool element that I like, and I think it's going to add a lot to the combat experience as well. Discussing a little bit more about some of the new things we learned regarding exploration and travel, Rise of the Ronin has a big emphasis on exploration of the game's world. And one thing that we learned is that as you navigate through the world, you're going to encounter different regions that are under the control of various groups, including dangerous bandits. These areas will present heightened challenges, hosting both minor enemies as well as more formidable foes for you to engage with. Now, we already knew that we'd be able to travel by foot, by horse, by grappling hook, and by glider, but as we mentioned earlier, swimming will also be an option in game, opening up different underwater areas so that you can use more stealthy tactics if you so choose. And as we've seen, as you explore the world, you'll be able to find various chests that you can locate, open, and get different valuable items or resources. There are also fun and challenging activities that include a different variety of activities, such as glider challenges, as well as clearing bandit outposts, which will likely contribute to our character's progression. And of course, one of the most important things you can do in Rise of the Ronin is pet cats. So as you're exploring the city streets of Edo or Kyoto or Yokohama, make sure you stop by and pet all the beautiful cats that you see. So this is everything new that we've recently learned about Rise of the Ronin, which releases on March 22nd. If you want to know a little bit more about Rise of the Ronin, including the story, some of the background, some of the characters, I talked about that in this video here on screen. I'm super excited to check out Rise of the Ronin, so be sure and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, be sure and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.